Death may be the greatest of all human blessings. These words from Socrates challenge our deepest fears and desires about existence. In the timeless realms of Castlevania, Monogatari, Frieren, Beyond Journey's End, and Baccano, characters confront their immortality, each grappling with the profound consequences that accompany an existence unbound by time. In Netflix's Castlevania, we encounter Dracula, a once noble man whose sanity deteriorates after the brutal loss of his beloved wife Lisa. Could it be that his immortality came at the cost of his humanity? After briefly regaining a sense of humanity through his love for Lisa, did Dracula ultimately lose it again, leaving only cruelty, greed, and anger in its place? This newfound anger shapes his perception of humanity, whom he blames for his suffering and loss. Driven by a desire for vengeance, he transforms from a loving husband into a tragic figure consumed by despair. This dark journey illustrates how eternal life can warp love into madness. It serves as a haunting reminder that immortality can lead not to enlightenment, but to profound sorrow. This exploration of personal turmoil resonates deeply in Monogatari, where characters grapple with their supernatural identities amidst intricate psychological struggles. They navigate themes of love and loss in a world that constantly shifts around them, reflecting the complexities of their immortal existences. In contrast, Frieren, Beyond Journey's End offers a more reflective take on immortality. Following the heroic defeat of the Demon King, the immortal elven mage Frieren embarks on a poignant journey after her companions age and pass away. As she confronts her regrets about the time she didn't spend nurturing deeper connections, Frieren learns to appreciate the fleeting beauty of life through her travels with her young apprentice Fern. Their bond highlights the importance of relationships in an ever-changing world. This theme of connection continues in Baccano, where immortals engage with society in unpredictable and chaotic ways. The vibrant tapestry of characters showcases both the joy and absurdity that accompany eternal existence. As we witness Dracula's descent into despair, Frieren's search for meaning, and the chaotic lives of immortals in Monogatari and Baccano, we are led to reflect on a deeper truth. Does the fear of death enhance our appreciation for life? And does it ultimately render immortality a hollow existence? In the end, ask yourself, what is the true cost of living forever? In Baccano, immortality is portrayed as both a blessing and a curse. The story begins in 1711 when alchemists summon a demon aboard the ship Advena Avis. They are granted an elixir of immortality, and with it, the ability to devour one another. This creates an eternal cycle of conflict where trust is scarce, and paranoia runs deep. Yet, not all immortals succumb to paranoia or greed. Characters like Meza Avoro, one of the original alchemists, seek peace despite their eternal existence. Meza's quiet leadership contrasts sharply with Sillard's insatiable hunger for power. This duality is evident in Castlevania, where Dracula descends into madness, consumed by grief and vengeance. His eternal life transforms into an endless pursuit of destruction, much like Sillard in Baccano, who loses himself in his insatiable hunger for power. In contrast, Alucard represents a different path. He fights against this darkness and embodies hope and redemption while navigating his complex identity as both human and vampire. Similarly, Baccano highlights the blessings that come with eternal life. Characters like Isaac and Miria bring humor and lightness to the story. Blissfully unaware of their immortality at first, they embrace life with childlike wonder, forming timeless bonds with those around them. These moments resonate deeply with Frieren's own journey in Frieren, Beyond Journey's End. Initially, she struggles to connect emotionally with her companions during their 10-year adventure, viewing that decade as just a small fraction of her long life. However, as she reflects on their time together, she realizes that those fleeting relationships are what truly give life meaning. Before we delve into Frieren's story, it's important to clarify that while Frieren is not technically immortal, her lifespan as an elf spans thousands of years, so vast that to human perception, she might as well be immortal. Where humans measure life in decades, Frieren's existence stretches across millennia, making her experience of time fundamentally different from that of mortals. For centuries, perhaps even millennia, Frieren has remained largely unchanged, viewing her long life through a lens of detachment. Early in her life, under the guidance of her teacher Flamme, Frieren exemplifies this emotional distance. Flamme instills in her a sense of duty and responsibility, but fails to encourage emotional engagement or the importance of forming meaningful connections. Despite her immense magical prowess, Frieren's interactions remain superficial. She prioritizes her studies and responsibilities over emotional connections, reflecting a common theme in stories about immortality, the risk of becoming emotionally stunted over time. This detachment sets the stage for her character arc. As the narrative unfolds, we see a significant shift when Frieren joins Himmel and his party on their quest to defeat the Demon King. Initially viewing this period as just another chapter in her long life, she gradually realizes how impactful these experiences will be in shaping her understanding of what it means to live. Through her time with Himmel and his companions, Frieren begins to awaken to the beauty of fleeting moments. The bonds she forms during this adventure challenge her previous notions about life and connection. For the first time, she experiences joy, friendship, and love, elements that had been absent from her existence for so long. However, this transformation is not without its challenges. When Frieren returns decades later to find Himmel aged and near death, she is struck by a profound realization. Despite spending years together, she never truly knew him. This moment serves as a catalyst for her emotional growth. At Himmel's funeral, Frieren grapples with regret, a uniquely human emotion that immortality had shielded her from until now. She reflects on missed opportunities for deeper connections and wonders why she didn't try harder to understand those around her. She asks herself, a haunting question that propels her on a new journey of reflection and growth. This experience leads us to an overarching message. It is not the length of life that matters, but how one chooses to live it. The adventures we embark upon and the moments we share with others shape our existence far more than mere longevity ever could. Frieren's journey emphasizes that while immortality may offer endless time, it also brings loneliness and the pain of watching loved ones age and die. Her long lifespan creates an emotional toll that adds complexity to her character. She learns that relationships are what truly enrich life. Through new experiences with Fern and other companions, Frieren actively seeks to forge new bonds despite knowing they are temporary. This desire reflects a transformative shift in her character as she learns that even fleeting relationships can bring immense joy and meaning. Frieren's journey is not unique in its exploration of immortality and human connection. These struggles echo across stories of other long-lived beings, each navigating their own balance between eternity and the fleeting lives around them. Through their journeys, we gain new perspectives on what it means to live and love across the vast expanse of time. Stark's arc mirrors Alucard's struggle to reconcile his immortal nature with mortal bonds. Both begin their stories burdened by doubt. Stark fears inadequacy as a warrior, while Alucard grapples with the loneliness of outliving his human companions. Their paths diverge in response to loss. Alucard finds purpose in protecting humanity, whereas Dracula, consumed by grief over Lisa's death, becomes a symbol of immortality's destructive potential. Dracula serves as a counterpoint to both Stark and Alucard. While Stark embraces mortality and Alucard seeks redemption through relationships, Dracula exemplifies how immortality can become a curse when consumed by grief and isolation. His connection to chaos grants him endless resurrection, but traps him in an eternal cycle of suffering. Unlike Alucard or Frieren, who grow emotionally through their connections with others, Dracula resists change, highlighting that immortality amplifies one's inner state, be it despair or hope. This contrast proves that immortality's value lies not in endless time, but in how one chooses to use it. Ison, a dwarf with a lifespan extending beyond 300 years, occupies a unique middle ground between human mortality and Frieren's near immortality. This position parallels Maisa Avaro from Baccano, offering a nuanced view on extended lifespans. While Ison's life is finite compared to Frieren's millennia-long existence, or Maisa's true immortality, it shapes his approach to relationships. He actively engages in mentorship, driven by an awareness of his own mortality. Ison's mentorship of Stark highlights how even long-lived beings can find purpose by shaping others' lives, a theme mirrored in Maisa's guidance of younger immortals like Firo. Both Ison and Maisa demonstrate that legacy is not solely about personal achievements, but also about investing in others' growth. Fern's role as Frieren's apprentice adds further depth. Through Fern's dedication to learning magic under Frieren's guidance, we see how even mortals can leave lasting impacts on immortals by challenging them to engage emotionally. Ison's grounded perspective serves as a counterpoint to Frieren's initial emotional distance, while Maisa illustrates how eternal beings can find fulfillment through teaching and connection. As we conclude our exploration of Frieren, we find a profound connection between her evolving perspective on mortals and Shinobu Oshino from Monogatari, particularly through Shinobu's relationship with her first servant, Seishiro Shishirui. Both characters grapple with the complexities of interacting with mortals. Shinobu forms an intense bond with Seishiro after saving him from death by turning him into a vampire, a relationship that ends tragically when Seishiro betrays her. In contrast, Frieren initially distances herself from mortals like Himmel, but later regrets not forming deeper bonds after his death. While Shinobu's experience teaches her caution in forming attachments due to betrayal, Frieren learns to embrace fleeting relationships despite their brevity. Both characters highlight how immortality amplifies both joy and sorrow when connecting with mortals. Where Baccano explores life's chaotic duality and Frieren emphasizes cherishing fleeting moments, Monogatari delves into the emotional toll of immortality itself, how trust, betrayal, and dependency shape an immortal's existence. Shinobu Oshino's journey mirrors Frieren's regrets, but takes a darker turn, forcing us to confront a haunting question. Can immortals ever truly reconcile their endless time with the fragility of human bonds? Shinobu Oshino, a 500-year-old vampire, embodies the weight of centuries-long existence. Originally Princess Rolla, her extraordinary beauty became a curse, causing her kingdom's collapse and mirroring how immortality can become a destructive, isolating force. Devastated, she fled and eventually became the vampire Kiss shot Acerola Orion Heart under blades. Shinobu's tragic origin reflects the broader theme of immortals struggling to find purpose in endless time. By the time she meets Koyomi Araragi, Shinobu has grown weary of existence. Their complex bond highlights the intense attachments immortals can form and the devastating consequences when these bonds are severed. In an alternate timeline depicted in Mayoi Jiangshi, Koyomi dies, leaving Shinobu alone. Without him, she succumbs to despair and unleashes her full power as Kiss shot Acerola Orion Heart under blade, destroying humanity and creating a world overrun by Jiangshi, zombie-like creatures. This highlights the fragility of immortals when deprived of meaningful connections, and reinforces Monogatari's recurring theme, that immortality without companionship or purpose can lead to self-destruction. This relationship also echoes her earlier connection with Seishiro Shishiruhi, her first servant, whom she turned into a vampire out of desperation to avoid loneliness. Seishiru's eventual descent into madness and self-destruction left Shinobu deeply scarred, teaching her that dependency can lead to pain and regret. This experience shaped her reluctance to form new connections until Koyomi helped her confront and reconcile with her past during the Shinobu male arc. The series also explores immortality through Tsukiji Araragi and Yosugi Ononoki, illustrating that eternal existence is not a monolithic experience, but a spectrum shaped by awareness and perception. Tsukiji, an unknowing phoenix apparition who reincarnates endlessly in human form, embodies blissful ignorance. Her carefree nature stems from her inability to comprehend mortality fully, as she perceives pain and consequences as fleeting. This contrasts sharply with Yotsugi, an artificial immortal being resurrected as a Shikigami. Yotsugi is painfully aware of her status as neither fully human nor fully oddity, embodying a liminal existence that challenges traditional notions of life and death. Their contrasting experiences demonstrate how the psychological impact of immortality varies dramatically based on one's awareness and understanding of their eternal nature. Monogatari frames boredom among immortals as more than mere disinterest, but as a manifestation of deeper psychological issues and existential crises. The series suggests that an unfulfilled immortal life can devolve into self-hatred, implying that the struggle against boredom is a struggle against loss of meaning and self over vast stretches of time. The primary cause of death among vampires in the series is suicide, highlighting the severe mental health issues that plague immortals. Monogatari uses aberrations, supernatural manifestations of repressed emotions, to symbolize the psychological weight immortals carry. These aberrations suggest that unresolved issues don't simply fade with time. They intensify, potentially warping one's existence. Through its exploration of Shinobu's struggles, Tsukihi's ignorance, and Yotsugi's acceptance, Monogatari defines immortality as an existence fraught with emotional challenges, but also one that demands reflection, resilience, and connection to endure its endless weight. Building on these complex portrayals of immortality, we can see how both Monogatari and Castlevania delve into the cosmic implications of eternal life. Deathtopia, Virtuoso Suicide Master, from Monogatari, despite her ominous name, demonstrates how immortals might seek to create meaning through propagating their kind. Her millennia-long existence and role in creating other vampires, including Shinobu, illustrates the potential for immortals to shape the world around them over vast periods of time. Similarly, Castlevania's portrayal of death as a physical entity with its own agenda adds another layer to our understanding of immortality. By using Dracula as a conduit for chaos, death becomes more than just an end to life. It becomes an active force in the eternal cycle of existence. This concept resonates with the themes of chaos and unpredictability we see in Baccano, where immortality often leads to unforeseen consequences. Across Monogatari, Baccano Frieren, and Castlevania, immortality emerges as a complex, multifaceted condition that magnifies the human experience. These narratives collectively illustrate that eternal life is neither an unequivocal blessing nor an outright curse, but rather a state of being that demands a delicate balance. The psychological burden of immortality, vividly portrayed through characters like Shinobu in Monogatari and the chaotic experiences in Baccano, finds echoes in Castlevania's Dracula and the concept of death itself. This burden highlights how eternal life can amplify human desires, conflicts, and existential crises to dangerous extremes. However, these stories also reveal the potential for growth, reflection, and deep connections within immortal existence. Frieren's journey demonstrates how immortality can offer unique perspectives on life's fleeting beauty. Characters like Alucard in Castlevania and the relationships formed in Monogatari and Baccano show how bonds can anchor immortals to purpose and meaning. The recurring theme of suicide among vampires in Monogatari and the exploration of final death in Castlevania underscore the existential weight of endless existence. This shared motif emphasizes that immortality, for all its power, requires a focus on connections, fleeting moments, and fulfilling relationships to offset the mental and emotional toll that accumulates over time. By cherishing our connections, finding meaning in fleeting moments, and striving for personal growth, we can aspire to live lives that are rich and fulfilling, whether they span decades or millennia. Thanks for watching. Remember to like and subscribe for more amazing content.